So you can't single out Dogecoin and say, hey, Dogecoin, why aren't you going against the grain? Why aren't you rallying even though the entire crypto market is crashing? I look at that as saying that just because you purchased a house in a particular neighborhood, and even though the entire housing market is crashing across the country, your house should increase in value. That's the equivalent of what you're saying when you do something like that. And that's not how it works. Welcome back, YouTube. So today I'm going to address a lot of the common questions that I've been getting about Dogecoin. Over the past few months, I've gotten hundreds, if not thousands of questions, and some of them are very similar or pretty much they're asking the same thing. So what I did was I compiled a list of the top 10 Dogecoin questions that I've been asked on the channel, and I'm going to make this answer them now in a video format. The first one I'm going to start with is Dogecoin dead? Now, very bluntly, no. But when you see these types of questions, or if you see like articles and stuff saying that, you have to understand that most media has an angle, and things like this is normally printed or pushed out to persuade you in one direction or another. And if you also pay very close attention, Dogecoin has been singled out for most of the year from multiple different industries, even by the government, and there's reasons for that. Now, when you see things like, okay, is Dogecoin dead? Or if you start to see as far as, okay, well, Dogecoin is consolidating or it's taking a long time, what's going on? You have to remember that the crypto market has cycles. And I know a lot of you are new investors and you may not have experienced cycles before, downtrend, but then you're going to have to look at the market as a whole and not just where you put your money at. Because I think that a lot of new investors, they typically do that. They'll hover over like directly where they put their market, and they're able to like pretty much micromanage it and not looking at the macro. The entire market is on a downtrend, or if it's down, it's consolidating from its high. So you can't single out Dogecoin and say, hey, Dogecoin, why aren't you going against the grain? Why aren't you rallying even though the entire crypto market is crashing? I look at that as saying that just because you purchased a house in a particular neighborhood, and even though the entire housing market is crashing across the country, your house should increase in value. That's the equivalent of what you're saying when you do something like that. And that's not how it works. Now, I'm not going to get into cycles on this video, but I'll say that you're going to pretty much have to zoom out and apply what's going on in the market as a whole to determine whether or not if something is dying or if something's fundamentally wrong. Now, if the entire crypto market starts rallying and going the opposite way, and everything's hitting all-time highs, and Dogecoin is still where it's at right now or going the opposite way, that's when you start asking questions. But when everything is down, especially Bitcoin, because it drags the entire crypto market with it in either direction, then you know that, okay, this is normal and we're in a downtrend. And these markets typically, these bear markets can typically last, for months at a time. The next question I'm going to answer is, how much money should I invest? Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't personally tell you, oh, hey, you need to be investing this much money. But I will say that there is a strategy as far as for the amount of return you're looking to get. Because eventually the goal of Dogecoin as it stands now is to become pretty much the people's currency. So it's not always going to be a multiplier of money like it is now. There'll come a day when you won't be able to put $1,000 in the Dogecoin and it triples within the next few months on the next uptrend. It'll be like a consolidation period, and $1,000 of Dogecoin will be whatever that trading ratio is to dollars or whatever currency. It'll work similar to like a Forex or something. So you have to kind of keep that in mind, but in the short term, you're going to have to say, okay, well, what's my short-term goal for Dogecoin? Am I looking to flip it at some point? Am I going to sell at $1, or am I going to just accumulate and hold? That's an individual strategy that you're going to have to come up with. But I will say that in the long term, coin count is what matters the most. So if you're one of those people that are saying, hey, look, I'm going to accumulate as much as I can now at around the 25 to 30 cents mark, and I'm going to sell at $1, for example, that's a Forex return. So if you are doing that, you just pretty much have to calculate the money based off of the amount of shares you have. So, hey, look, if I have 10,000 coins, then, if it gets to $1, that's $10,000. And, you add up as far as like the money that you want to invest in it. So it's not a matter of, how much should you invest, or how much should you, what does it take to become a millionaire, and how long does it take? Is it going to hit the 72 cents mark? You're going to have to determine like your ultimate goals. And I think that's where investing starts. You're going to have to determine, am I buying and holding for the next 5 years and seeing where this thing goes? Or am I going to sell at a specific point, or as soon as it touches this all-time high again, am I going to get out? Or if my DCA is too high, or it just depending on as far as like how you feel, is like if you feel like your DCA is too high, can I lower it now and increase my returns? Those are all personal decisions, but you have to decide with what you want. The next question I'm going to answer is, when should you buy? And this is probably my favorite question, because I noticed that people have a very bad habit of buying in bull markets and selling in bear markets, and then pretty much cursing the entire market, saying that it's rigged or it's a scam. You buy when things are down. That's if you know nothing else about investing, you buy in a bear market and sell in a bull market, not the opposite way. Like, I think that people, when you have like a large investment community, kind of like the shift that we're having now, people tend to like momentum and hype, and they like a bunch of people agreeing with them, telling them that this is a good decision, and it provides a sense of comfort for them investing money. But when you see those things, typically the bull run is already underway, and a lot of the momentum and the gains are also well underway as well. So you're probably getting in on like the top 20% of the bull market. The people who made the real money, like the early investors, they're the ones that's been holding for months, or they got in when nobody was talking about it, or when everyone was saying that it was a joke or that it's dead. Those are the people that are going to see the real gains. I believe that we're in that time frame right now with this consolidation, because there's a lot of people right now saying that, Dogecoin is dead, or they've already sold their positions, and then as soon as the market turns around, they'll come running back in at around 50, 60 cents. They'll buy in there, and we'll, wherever the rally takes us, and then the DCA will be a little high, or pretty much they'll buy a little higher, right around like the peak of the rally. They'll buy, and then they'll pull back and have a consolidation, as they always do, and we'll start this process again of Doge is dead and it's a scam. Like it happens habitually. And I just want to, when you have this pullback and you have a consolidation market and it stays there for weeks and months, and I've made comments about this in the community section, there's no excuse. If you consider yourself an investor in Dogecoin, there's no excuse why you wouldn't buy now. You don't have to wait for an indicator or the coin to start rising to say, oh, that's my indicator, I'm only buying it when it's going up. That's asinine. That's what due diligence is for. Doing your research and saying that, hey, I believe this coin is undervalued right now. That is how you make money in any market. You believe this house is undervalued right now. I believe this stock is undervalued right now. I believe this business is undervalued right now. It's no different with cryptocurrency. If you do your due diligence and say, hey, I believe that Dogecoin is undervalued right now, and I believe it's going to go here. It may not be next month. It may not be this year. It may be next year. But I'm going to load up now because I believe it's going to go here. That is how you make money, not by catching the bull. I mean, you can. Some people do catch the bull run and be like, oh, I'm going to wait until it's an uptrend and then jump in. But you can't time as far as for when the consolidation is going to be. So the real people that are going to be laughing and enjoying the great profits are going to be the ones that's locking in their positions in a consolidation period. The next question is, can Dogecoin reach Bitcoin prices? No. It would take some serious blockchain. It would take pretty much like an entire new development in order to make that possible. There is far too many Dogecoin to make those prices a realization. You would have to have, even if the entire world, it's just the amount of revenue that would have to pour into Dogecoin at this point would be like astronomical. It would have to pretty much be all the countries around the world surrendering their currencies and converting to Dogecoin. Because even as the people, it would take governments to do this, and we'd have to exchange and issue bonds, and the entire economy as a whole will have to be pulled into Dogecoin in order to even have a chance at making this possible. As far as for the people, there's no amount of money that we can spend, there's no amount of money that we can hold at this point to push Dogecoin to Bitcoin prices. So that is just mathematically impossible. The next question is Dogecoin's inflation a bad thing? No. So if you are looking at the overall agenda of Dogecoin and what we say that we're pushing for it to be, as far as to be the people's currency, when you have a currency, inflation is not a bad thing. Now, I know when people say that, they typically are comparing it to Bitcoin. So when you have things like Bitcoin, or calling it like the crypto's gold, most of the value is going to be in scarcity. And that is not Dogecoin's approach at all. So again, I believe this comes down to due diligence as far as for what the actual function of the coin is. But if I'm using something as a currency, then it makes more sense for it to be a depreciating, or for it to have inflation, so that it not necessarily loses value, but it doesn't have the sharp spikes as far as the increase of value. Because when things have the sharp spikes as far as for this is guaranteed to increase in value, or it has scarcity value, people tend to not want to trade them for things that are not going to hold value. A perfect example of this would be taking Bitcoin and going to buy a car or a Tesla or something. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't care who says it, or if it is Tesla or a Chevy or whatever the case may be. A car is a depreciating asset. In 5 years, Bitcoin will be worth more than what it is right now. And as soon as you drive that car off the lot, you're losing money. It makes no sense for me to trade you Bitcoin or gold or silver for a car. Now, I'll give you dollars, absolutely, because both of them are going to depreciate over time. You know, you have inflation, you have to kind of outpace it. The car is going to lose value. That makes a lot more sense to me than me trading you, me giving you $20,000 of Bitcoin today, and I drive the car off the lot, the car loses half its value, and tomorrow morning I wake up and that same $20,000 of Bitcoin is now worth $25,000 of Bitcoin. Like as far as for trading, that wouldn't make sense at all. So like you have to look at like the actual functions of the coin. And for currency purposes, inflation is actually a good thing, because it also it forces people to accumulate as far as for more of them. It replaces the currency or the coins that are lost or not located. It's just pretty much like a new supply, and it also just helps as far as for any alleviating debt that is already tied up into Dogecoin. So similar to like what we do with dollars is we'll have take out debts, and that debt is typically locked in. So like if you do like a bond or even a home, you'll have those prices and like your fixed interest rate. And if you stay on top of it, you know, that debt is pretty much locked in, and you'll be able to pretty much predetermine, even in the future, 30 years from now, you'll be able to lock in as far as for how much money I'm going to pay, regardless of the inflation rate. You know, that's why you don't get a variable interest rate, by the way. But if you lock those rates in, you'll say 30 years from now, my $350,000 house is going to be, I'm going to pay $500,000 for it. That's it, regardless of what inflation is. So even in 30 years, if $500,000 only buys 2 eggs, that's still what you owe. So, and that's still as far as for like the value of the currency. Like you're not taking that loss as far as for in your money to pay for that asset. Bitcoin would be the exact opposite. You'd pay $500,000 for, you'd obligate yourself to pay $500,000 in Bitcoin, and then 30 years from now, that Bitcoin is worth, you know, $1 million. You know, you're the one taking the L here. So this is pretty much just the exact opposite of what you would want in that situation. So just pay attention to the function of the coin. The next question is, how high can Dogecoin go? Short answer is, I don't know. I do believe we'll see Dogecoin in multiple dollars as it stands now. I know there's a lot of different programs in work, and there's a lot of different things as far as going on with Elon, and there's a lot of different things as far as going with utilities, and as far as for like the people, as far as are we pushing it into different markets, different businesses, increasing utility rates. It's hard to say. I do believe that we're going to see multiple dollars in Dogecoin. So that's one of the reasons why I'm very bullish on the prices that we're at now. There's a lot of things that can propel Dogecoin even over $1 mark. I'm not going to get into those as far as in these videos. I have other videos on that, but I do believe that we'll see Dogecoin at several dollars at some point. I believe that Dogecoin is the people's currency. When you look at any market, you have your good, better, best like approach. Like you'll have like your top three. And I believe Dogecoin has established itself as its, as a top three. So you have like your Bitcoin, you'll have like your Ethereum, and then you'll have like your Dogecoin as far as for like the common people. And I believe that's why a lot of the reason that Dogecoin gets a lot of hate and people single it out is because Dogecoin is pretty much propelling itself in terms of popularity and even profits as far as for this year. It's propelling itself a lot ahead of a lot of other cryptocurrencies. So, that's typically frowned upon. So I believe that Dogecoin is here to stay. And I believe that as far as like the actual value of Dogecoin, it's going to be in that conversion, long term, it's going to be in that conversion from the crypto investment to the actual currency. As far as a concrete price, I cannot say that with any degree of certainty. The next question is Elon Musk doing a pump and dump with Dogecoin? I'd say I don't believe that at all because, first of all, I believe that I know that Elon has mass amounts of money and it's not to his benefit to pump and dump Dogecoin. And I know I've seen this, I'm sure a lot of you have as well, all over the internet. Oh, it's a scam and Elon's playing with us. Elon is fully capable of coming out with his own coin or a Tesla coin if he wanted to do a cash grab or raise money for his Doge 1 rocket or whatever the name of the rocket would be at that point if he decide to come up with his own coin. I don't see the financial benefit or the reason for Elon to do such a thing, because I can only think of two reasons. Is if it's the to like increase like your popularity, which he's already famous enough, so I don't think he needs to do anything for fame or to stay in headlines. He has multiple ways of doing that, or to do a cash grab. And someone with his money, he's very capable of raising money for whatever he wants. He has plenty of it to begin with. So I don't think that he would need to play on Dogecoin or any cryptocurrency to drive revenue or attention to himself. So I don't believe that at all. The next question I get is, what are the chances you'll lose all your money? Now, with crypto, you have to understand, as far as with any investment, there is a risk that's involved. Now, as far as losing all your money, I believe that's slim to none, but there's a chance that you can lose money, but that's only when you sell on a downtrend. Now, again, we're pushing for Dogecoin to become the people's currency. So as far as for losing your money, that will put those chances at really slim. But as far as, or if you're looking at the multiplier aspect, saying that, hey, I want to, 5x my money, or is it possible to get those gains that we saw earlier this year? Can we invest in Dogecoin right now at 30% and get an 11,000% return? Or is that going to be like a loss? Yeah, if you're looking for something like that, I don't believe that we're going to see a rally as strong as 11,000% from where we are now. But as far as for losing all your money from where we are now, no, I don't believe. I believe that is a very slim chance, and I don't personally believe that Dogecoin will go to zero or drop below a penny again or something like that. So no, I believe those odds are very slim. The next question is, should I take profits or just hold? Now that, again, I believe that is a personal decision, and that has to align with your investment strategy. Now, both of those play a part as far as for any investment. Now, I'll never discourage anyone from taking profits or attack anyone in the community and say, oh yeah, you need to hold until forever. I'll never recommend or say that. You have to decide that as far as for yourself. Now, but holding, especially if you're going to be a strategic investor and try and get the most gains, you're going to holding is certainly going to play a part in that. That's one of the reasons I believe that now is a great time as far as to get in, but you are going to have to hold until we get that uptrend again. And again, these trends can last, I've seen them last 10 months, 9 months. So holding plays a very big part in that. But as far as for taking profits, that's something you're going to have to decide. I made a number of videos stating that we could do something like a controlled release or have a strategic take profits thing, but those are all other videos. I'm not going to get into that now, but taking profits is going to be a personal decision. I still stand by my statement that I do believe that once we hit like around the dollar mark, or probably the 96 cents to the dollar mark, I do believe that we're going to have a sell-off at that point. But taking profits, like, I'll never discourage any of you, because there are whales in Dogecoin. There's whales in every crypto or stock. and they're going to take profits. So whether you like it or not, or rather you can say it's messing up the momentum, all that kind of stuff like that, whales are going to take profit. So even if it's something like Dogecoin or Ethereum or whatnot, if they can take profits and then use most of the community that's holding as kind of like a floor so that they can get back in again, they will. So I'll never discourage you from taking profits. You're going to have to decide that for yourself. The final question is, how long before the next rally? Now, that is very difficult as far as the time, because there's a lot of things that can determine whether or not the market picks up again or what turns it around. Personally, I believe, and I still stand by this, that institutions pulled out of the crypto market, and whether that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, all of them, we've seen over $1 trillion just vanish relatively quickly. So I still stand by that as far as for that, what's led to the decline in the current crypto market we have now. But there's always a number of reasons as to what can start a downtrend. Now, if you're looking at the charts, typically you'll see these bearish periods. Typically they can last up to about like 9-10 months. Those are the ones that I've seen. I compare them to like Bitcoin, like Ethereum charts, but you'll see them, they can last for the longer part of a year sometimes. It's also why I say in a number of my videos, you're going to see whether or not that diamond hands and all the emojis people like to put up, you know, that's going to be put to the test. Because I know a lot of people that are saying the lingo of diamond hands and the rocket ships to the moon. I know a lot of them are new investors. So we're going to put a lot of that to the test. But when you are in the market and you've done your due diligence and you believe something has the potential to increase in value, it's not that big of a deal to hold. But when you're buying off of speculation, or you over leverage yourself, or you put the rent money in and you're going to need it's the 15th of the month and you put your rent money in and you need to go to the moon by the 1st, yeah, you're going to put yourselves in situations and probably end up losing money. So that's not a factor to use to try and time when Dogecoin is going to rise, or whether or not the market's rigged or something like that. You're going to have to look at the trends and be prepared to hold. Like, there's a reason why that's the lingo in a lot of the community, saying hold and diamond hands, because we have to understand there's mass market manipulation in there. There's people that are shorting. There's institutions. There's a lot of different obstacles that we kind of have to navigate. And through becoming an accomplished investor and learning different trends, you are able to identify these things, and it limits the amount of panic, and it also prepares you for the length that you can be potentially holding for. That's why I like looking at the charts. Hey, look at the charts. Look at, again, Bitcoin is the leader as far as for the crypto market. Look at the charts and say, hey, how long does Bitcoin stay down? What's the potential that it can consolidate at? And then you can get your answer. Say, hey, okay, I'm going to put this money into Dogecoin, but I need to be prepared for it to sit there for this long. I'm not saying it will, but you need to be prepared for it. So that's not a bad question, but you have to just look at the charts and be prepared for your money to sit. Don't use your quick turnaround money or the money you can't afford to invest or can't afford to lose and invest it and try and demand a turnaround or in the next 30 days, or you start attacking the cryptocurrency online. I've seen a lot of people doing that, and it's very foolish because, again, Dogecoin is not going to break the barrier against the entire crypto market. That being said, I know this is probably the longest video I've ever made on YouTube, especially by myself. So I hope you found value in those questions. Those are my responses to the top 10 questions that I get on YouTube. And if you have additional questions that I didn't cover, let me know in the comments, and maybe I'll do another top 10 video, and we can get this out there, and you will have something in video format, and I'll have something to refer to people as far as for asking the questions, so that way they can always have the answers whether or not I see their comment. If you're looking to invest and you don't have a brokerage, or you're looking to diversify your brokerages, I recommend Webull. It's one of my favorite trading apps. I use them daily. It's pretty much where I hold like my Dogecoin and the majority of my investments. I have a link in the description. If you open an account and open with at least $100, you'll get 2 free stocks valued at up to $1,600 in value. Also, I'm going to be coming up with I'm going to do a written format for these 10 questions, and I'm going to be sending that out via the email list that I have. So if you'd like to be a part of that, I'm going to have a description to join my email list in the description box down below. I'll also have all my social media links, Instagram, Twitter, they'll be in the description box. So if you'd like to connect with me there, you're more than welcome to. Again, I appreciate all of you. Happy 4th of July, and until next time.